Good evening. My name is Lisa Forestell, and I want to give a shout out to those of you that I have had the pleasure of meeting. But I should probably introduce myself a little more in depth. I am from the U.S. I hang out in Massachusetts. I am a voice hearer, and I've been involved with Hearing Voices Network for about 5 years. In that time, I have had the good graces of hanging out with Jackie Dillon, who has gifted me with a great amount of her wisdom and helped us to develop training programs in the U.S. We've done our utmost best to bring the likes of Rachel, who's looking very pink this evening, to the States to play with us as well, to really bring the values and ethos of Hearing Voices to the U.S. Right now I'm shaking in my shoes, as I usually do when I speak about voice hearing, because without the Hearing Voices Network, I would still very much be a closeted voice hearer. So every time I have the opportunity to speak on behalf of the network and on behalf of the work that we're doing in the U.S., I just shake all the way down to my feet. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. And the comments that I make will be a bit off the cuff because I just learned recently that I'd be doing this. The State of the Union for Hearing Voices Network in the U.S. is relatively new. We've had a website that has essentially been Hearing Voices USA for about 3 years now. It has locations where you can find groups, ideas about how you can find training both on the wonderful internet, which has been so useful to Hearing Voices, and also communication ways for people to speak with one another. We just got a forum up and running, which is really, really cool. And ways to find answers to some of the difficulties that we face when we're working through issues associated with hearing voices. We have right now, I get really excited, we have 60 groups in the US right now, and we're a terribly large country, so we need very many more of them, but 60 groups that identify as full membership groups with our charter in the US, which is similar to that in the UK. That's just amazing, wonderful news for us. And I can't tell you how very proud I am to be able to say that. In the last year, we've been able to provide training, I think really as far as how mental health is really facing some of the difficulties of change in the U.S. I guess it is with all of our countries, but there's many, many different levels. Some states have really taken a step into the ring to make changes possible. I'm lucky enough to be in Massachusetts. That is definitely one such state that has invested in life experience first and foremost. So there are pots of money going to people with lived experience, not just voice hearing, but trauma issues, extreme experiences, experience with diagnoses, to really discover for ourselves what alternatives are going to be as we move forward and change the system. So when we're in the U.S., oftentimes we talk about change from within and change from without. Some of us identify that very strongly with human rights. That would be me. And it is an ongoing struggle to invite as many people in a compassionate way to the table to speak about how human rights and changing the system in the U.S. is possible. We are experiencing a great amount of push from our conservative wings for assisted outpatient treatment, many quotes here, which is forced treatment, and the increasing of beds in hospitals that at one point got shut down but are miraculously opening up year by year again in the U.S. Our penal systems use psychiatric medication as forced restraint. They tend to go out of their way to get their inmates diagnosed if they are not already, so they can medicate them. So things are pretty tragic oftentimes. And then on the other side of it is that piece where I really get to spend a lot of time in advocacy and work to get on both sides of the wall. We go behind the lines, as it were. We have people in active bridger positions. We call them bridger positions, where as people with lived experience, we go into the hospitals and we act as ombudsmen or extra voices to really allow people to have space to tell their own stories in their own voices, know what their experiences are, their rights are, and think with a measure of hope about what it is going to be like to re-enter their lives once they leave the hospitals. Those things are happening in the US in small ways. We're hoping that they're growing every day. Our piece with the Hearing Voices, we were starting as a work group with USA, and it has now become a board. I'm really pleased to say that the board is representative of the entire US contiguous states. So, no, I think we've got Hawaii covered too, but Alaska we're still working on. And we continue to maintain the relationship with European Hearing Voices so that we can steal all your best stuff without having to reinvent the wheel. I am so very, very glad to be here, and I thank you very much for your time.